You don't need a softer world. You need a steadier core. Life won't calm down for you. You must learn to stay still inside it. Most people aren't broken. They're exhausted, tired of overthinking, reacting too fast, and letting small things steal entire days. You try to stay positive, but pressure keeps building. Here's the truth. Calm isn't luck, it's training. Positivity isn't a mood, it's maintenance. You don't need a perfect life. You need tools that work when the world gets loud. This audiobook is about those tools. You'll learn how to stop overthinking, protect your energy, and handle stress without breaking. You'll learn how to pause before reacting, to make silence your strategy, to act early so your peace lasts longer. You'll learn to rest like it matters, because it does. Sleep isn't indulgence. It's the foundation of stability. You'll also learn how to protect your energy from people who drain it. Some lift your spirit, others leak it. You can love and still set distance. Peace is not a debt, it's a boundary. When anger rises, speak less. When thoughts spin, write them out. When your mind feels scattered, do one thing at a time. Small order outside creates large order inside. Every habit is frequency training. The pause cools the amygdala. Clean spaces calm your brain. Silence resets your chemistry. And honest writing frees the loops that trap you. These are not spiritual slogans. They're physics. Energy follows order. When you practice these small disciplines, your system becomes coherent. You stop leaking power. You stop handing your mood to the moment. You don't control the storm. You become the gravity within it. Calm doesn't make life easy. It makes you unshakable. This is how you take your mind back and keep it if you're ready to rise above the noise, like the video. It tells YouTube you're choosing awareness over autopilot. Subscribe now and don't miss the next chapter in your evolution. And remember, the deepest transformation belongs to those who stay until the very end. Chapter 1. The Power of the Pause. If you don't master the pause, the world will master you. Every argument, every mistake, every regret you've ever carried, trace them back, and you'll find the same missing moment. The pause that never came. Calm doesn't mean nothing happens to you. It means nothing owns you. The strongest people aren't those who never get angry. They're the ones who can feel the storm rise inside and still choose their response. Every day, you'll be tested. Someone cuts you off in traffic. A message arrives that shakes your mood. A person you trusted disappoints you. In those seconds, your nervous system fires. Your body floods with adrenaline. Your jaw tightens. Your heartbeat accelerates. That is biology, not weakness. But what you do next, that's power. If you react instantly, the ancient part of your brain, the amygdala, takes control. It's built for survival, not wisdom. It wants to attack, defend, prove, or escape. It doesn't calculate consequences. The prefrontal cortex, the part of you that plans, empathizes, and decides, activates only after a brief delay. The pause is that delay. It's the bridge between instinct and intention. It's the space where the primitive reaction burns out and awareness begins. Think of the pause as sacred ground. When you breathe instead of bite, when you wait instead of wage, you reclaim the steering wheel from chaos. You're not suppressing emotion. You're mastering its energy. You're transmuting heat into clarity, frustration into information, pain into perspective. This is how emotional alchemy works. In energetic terms, reaction is a discharge, response is redirection. Every time you pause, you alter your vibration. Instead of matching chaos, you neutralize it. You become a tuning fork for steadiness in a world addicted to noise. People will start feeling it even before they understand it. They'll say you feel different, centered, hard to shake. That's coherence, the measurable alignment between your brain, your breath, and your energy field. Calm people aren't detached from reality. They're deeply engaged with it, but from the inside out. They know that giving away your reaction is giving away your frequency. Every emotional outburst rents your energy to someone else. Every pause reclaims it. You will fail at this sometimes. You'll speak too soon, reply too sharp, regret too fast. That's okay. Each time you notice it, you're strengthening the observer within, the self that watches before acting. The observer is your higher intelligence, the part that doesn't panic when the body does. The more often you activate it, the less control chaos has. When someone disrespects you, your ego will crave immediate justice. It will whisper, prove them wrong, show your strength. But strength shown through reaction is counterfeit. It depends on their trigger, not your truth. Real strength is quiet precision. It doesn't need to prove, it simply chooses. Here's a simple practice. When the rush of emotion comes, name it before you act. Anger, fear, disappointment. Naming turns reaction into recognition. Then breathe, slow, deep, deliberate. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4, exhale for 6. That extra 2 seconds signals your brain that you are safe. Your body follows. Your awareness expands. You see the moment instead of being consumed by it. With practice, the pause becomes instinct. You'll begin catching yourself mid-sentence, mid-thought, mid-rage, and redirect. That's when you know transformation has begun. You'll start noticing how people around you rush, defend, explode, and regret. And you'll stay still. Not cold, just clear. Not detached, just deliberate. The spiritual layer of this truth is deeper. Every reaction is a ripple of energy you send into the field. When you respond with stillness, you anchor the vibration of peace into collective space. You're not just calming yourself, you're stabilizing the frequency around you. One centered person can neutralize an entire room of tension because energy obeys coherence. It syncs with the most stable signal present. That's why calm is contagious, just as chaos is. You've felt it. The coworker who brings tension into every meeting. The friend whose panic infects everyone nearby. That's resonance in motion. When you master the pause, you become the opposite, an emotional tuning system that regulates the environment instead of reflecting it. Pause before you react, and you won't need to fix so much later. You'll have fewer apologies, fewer sleepless nights, fewer broken bridges. You'll move through days with a quiet pride that doesn't come from perfection, but from control. Make it a daily test. Whenever something triggers you, ask, do I need to respond now? Will this matter next week? Will it matter in a year? Most things won't. Let silence win. Let time answer. The pause is the seed of wisdom, and every wise life is built from the moments that weren't wasted on reaction. Master it, and you'll feel the subtle shift, from being pulled by every current to becoming the current itself. You'll stop being a passenger of emotion and start being its navigator. That's the birth of true composure. That's the beginning of real calm. Train this like a muscle. Every pause is a repetition. Every breath between impulse and action is another layer of strength. The people who can pause before they react, those are the ones who stay calm, stay positive, and lead their own energy instead of being led by it. In time, the pause will become your power. It will no longer feel like holding back. It will feel like standing tall. You will realize that in silence, you're not losing momentum, you're generating it. Because the pause isn't emptiness, it's potential waiting to become wisdom. Chapter 2. Rebuilding your energy through sleep. If your mind feels unstable every day, don't look at your goals first. Look at your sleep. You can't expect a calm, balanced mind when your system is running on fumes. Your brain is not just tired, it's disorganized. When rest breaks, coherence breaks. Thoughts fragment, emotions distort. Perspective shrinks until every small inconvenience feels like collapse. Sleep isn't the reward for a good life. It's the foundation that allows life to stay good. When you cut it short, you're not saving time. You're borrowing from your peace. The mind that hasn't rested doesn't just lose focus, it loses truth. You start believing your fears more easily. You take everything personally. You become reactive, sharp, defensive. And the tragedy is, you think it's a mindset problem, but it's biology screaming for recovery. Your nervous system is a circuit of light, electrical, chemical, vibrational. Every night, sleep recalibrates it. Deep sleep clears metabolic waste from the brain, resets neurotransmitters, restores hormonal balance, and reorganizes memories. REM sleep integrates emotion, transforming daily chaos into meaning. Without this reset, you're carrying yesterday's noise into today. That's why the same small problem feels heavier with each passing day. Your emotional software never rebooted. Spiritually, sleep is your daily return to the source. When the body lies still, your consciousness reconnects with universal rhythm. The breath slows, the brain waves descend, and your energy synchronizes with the silent pulse that animates everything. You're not escaping the world. You're merging with the intelligence that built it. You're letting the cosmic system repair the microsystem of you. If you want to protect your peace, protect your rest. Don't glorify exhaustion. Don't wear burnout like a badge. You can't serve, create, or think clearly when your biology is begging for pause. The world will tell you to hustle, but hustle without rest is a slow form of self-destruction. You can grind for a season, but you can't outrun fatigue forever. Eventually, your body collects the debt your discipline ignored. Treat sleep like a sacred appointment. Honor it the way you'd honor a promise to someone you love. Set a time. Protect it. Wind down as a ritual, not a chore. Dim lights, slow breathing, quiet devices. Let silence cradle your nervous system back into rhythm. Your mind needs that gradient between effort and stillness. You can't go from chaos to calm in one step. Create the slope. The science is clear. Before midnight, your body releases growth hormone that repairs tissue and balances metabolism. The more irregular your sleep, the more your circadian rhythm loses alignment with natural light cycles. When that happens, cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes at the wrong times, keeping you anxious even in safety. Regular sleep resets your hormonal orchestra, allowing dopamine, serotonin, and melatonin to harmonize. From an energy perspective, sleep is how you reassemble your field. During waking hours, every thought, every emotion, every conversation scatters fragments of your attention. By night, those fragments hover, still vibrating in your aura, pulling energy in 10 directions. Deep rest calls them home. It's the cosmic act of recollection, your frequencies returning to their original coherence. People often chase positivity through books, affirmations, or meditation. These help. But if you're building on exhaustion, you're laying bricks on sand. The structure won't hold. You don't need more motivation. You need restoration. Your cells can't emit peace when they're still in defense mode. When you sleep well, everything improves. Your patience lengthens. Your clarity sharpens. You become kinder without trying, because you're no longer interpreting life through the lens of fatigue. Your body isn't fighting itself, so your mind doesn't have to compensate. You speak with more awareness. You listen more deeply. You recover faster from setbacks. Sleep makes wisdom usable. Here's a small practice. 2 hours before bed, begin releasing the day. Dim lights. Step away from your phone. Write down unfinished thoughts so they don't follow you into dreams. Stretch your body lightly. Breathe slowly. Tell your mind, we're safe now. We rest now. That language matters. Your subconscious listens. Keep your room cool, dark, uncluttered. Darkness isn't emptiness, it's medicine. It signals melatonin, invites depth. Let your bed be a sanctuary. Don't scroll, don't debate, don't plan tomorrow there. Let that space belong only to peace, intimacy, and renewal. The body remembers associations. Build one that tells your nervous system, this is where we recharge. You'll know the difference once you experience real rest. You'll wake up not just less tired, but recalibrated. You'll notice that your morning silence feels wider. Your thoughts come slower, but truer. That's your frequency returning to order. That's clarity born from coherence. There's also a deeper truth. Sleep is where your conscious mind steps aside and your deeper intelligence takes over. The universe speaks in symbols, sensations, dreams. When you rest, you listen. You don't always understand the message consciously, but your body does. It carries that coded guidance into your waking choices. The intuition that appears suddenly in the morning. That's the residue of night wisdom. Don't wait for a breakdown to start caring about rest. Don't let your body force what your awareness can choose willingly. Peace doesn't begin with affirmations. It begins when your cells are oxygenated, your hormones balanced, your thoughts untangled. When the system works, the soul can speak. You don't have to be perfect. You'll have restless nights, wandering thoughts, occasional insomnia. That's okay. Just keep the direction sacred. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's alignment with the deeper rhythm that sustains every form of life on this planet. You want clarity? Sleep. You want calm? Sleep. You want to feel grounded, hopeful, unshakable? Begin with the hours when you do nothing. Because in those hours, your body is rebuilding the energy that allows you to do everything. Every night you rest, the universe repairs the bridge between your biology and your being. Every morning you wake, it gives you another chance to use that bridge wisely. Protect your rest, and you protect your peace. Because peace is not created in motion, it's built in recovery. Chapter 3. Energy Drainers. People who disrupt your frequency. If you want to stay calm and positive, you must first become honest about one truth. Some people are not compatible with your peace. They don't have to be evil, cruel, or even intentional, but their energy and yours move in opposite directions. Every interaction costs you something invisible. You walk away heavy, unclear, tense, doubting yourself. That's not just mood, that's frequency interference. You've felt it. The friend who always complains, the relative who turns every story into a tragedy, the colleague who gossips under the disguise of venting. They live in a low vibrational field, fear, scarcity, drama, and whether you mean to or not, your system starts matching it. That's not weakness, it's physics. The human nervous system is an antenna, constantly tuning to the energy it's exposed to. If you stay near chaos long enough, you'll start humming its song. There's a concept in neuroscience called emotional contagion. Your brain's mirror neurons literally synchronize with the emotional states of people around you. You catch energy the same way you catch colds. That's why 5 minutes with someone negative can undo hours of calm. You can meditate, journal, and breathe deeply. But if your daily circle drains you, you're fighting uphill with a hole in your bucket. Spiritual science calls this resonance. Every person emits a field, subtle yet measurable. When two fields meet, they either harmonize or clash. Harmony feels like ease, laughter, expansion. Disharmony feels like contraction, pressure, defense. The body knows before the mind admits it. Your chest tightens. Your breath shortens. You force smiles. You over-explain to avoid tension. Those are signals. Listen to them. You are not obligated to absorb other people's storms. Empathy doesn't mean carrying their thunder. You can love someone and still protect your nervous system. You can forgive someone and still keep distance. Protecting your energy isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You are not responsible for anyone else's emotional weather. You are responsible for your umbrella. Here's a quiet test. After every interaction, ask yourself, do I feel expanded or contracted? Calm or chaotic? Inspired or drained? The body answers instantly. Expansion means resonance. Contraction means misalignment. Honor that information the same way you'd honor physical pain. It's guidance, not guilt. Some people may say you've changed. They'll accuse you of being distant, cold, arrogant. But remember this: protecting your peace threatens those who feed on your old patterns. When you stop being emotionally available for their chaos, they lose their control, not their comfort. They'll try to pull you back with guilt or nostalgia. Stay steady. Let them think what they need to think. You have work to do within your own field. In energy language, boundaries are filters. They don't block love. They block interference. A healthy boundary doesn't mean walls. It means frequency control. It says, I decide what my system absorbs. You can still be compassionate, but compassion without discernment is self-sabotage. If you struggle to distance yourself physically, start energetically. Before seeing someone who drains you, center your awareness in your breath. Visualize your body surrounded by a thin, luminous field, soft light that breathes with you. It's not imagination, it's intention. This field is your coherence, your filter. When their words arrive charged with tension, breathe before responding. That one breath is energetic alchemy. It converts external chaos into neutral air. Don't try to fix people who aren't ready to rise. Healing can't be forced. You can only invite, never drag. If they want calm, they'll meet you halfway. If they want drama, they'll reject your silence. That's not your lesson. That's theirs. Psychologically, we stay around draining people because we fear guilt. We think leaving equals betrayal. But betrayal isn't walking away. It's abandoning your own well-being for someone else's comfort. Every time you stay where peace is impossible, you teach your nervous system that safety is negotiable. And soon, you'll forget what safety even feels like. You deserve environments that make you breathe deeper. People whose presence steadies you. Conversations that open, not close. If someone constantly brings you stress under the label of love, it's not love. It's addiction to familiar pain. Learn to recognize the pattern. Chaos. Apology. Temporary calm. Chaos again. That cycle feeds on your energy. Break it by not participating. You'll know you've healed a connection when being around it no longer costs energy. If you leave a conversation and still feel at peace, keep it. If you leave and your chest feels like a battlefield, step back. No grand confrontation needed, just less time, less sharing, less access. The universe honors vacuum. When you clear space of draining frequencies, new ones arrive. People whose energy feels like morning, whose presence feels like home. They exist, but they can't enter until you stop orbiting chaos. You are not designed to live in constant defense. The body that evolved to face lions now faces loud people and endless noise. Your stress hormones don't know the difference. They flood the same. Long exposure to negativity shrinks your prefrontal cortex and weakens emotional regulation. Protecting your peace isn't luxury, it's neuroscience. So start filtering your world. Be selective with who gets your silence, your laughter, your plans, your presence. You don't need to announce distance, just redirect your focus. Energy follows attention, and what you withdraw from loses power. The company you keep is not just social, it's spiritual. The more you align with peace, the less you'll tolerate noise disguised as connection. Some will fall away, and it will hurt for a while. But what replaces them will feel like breathing after years of underwater living. You are not meant to carry everyone. You are meant to shine in alignment, unmuted, steady, clear. And from that state, you'll begin attracting others who live the same way, not by effort, but by frequency. Let your energy choose your circle. Let your peace decide who enters. The people who truly care won't drain your calm. They'll mirror it, amplify it, expand it. The rest will fade as you rise. And that is how your external world begins to match your internal one. That is how you protect your frequency and protect yourself. Chapter 5. Your environment reflects your inner order. When your mind feels noisy, look around. The clutter you see isn't just physical, it's a mirror of your inner landscape. Every unwashed dish, every scattered object, every chaotic corner carries a silent message. Unfinished, unresolved, unattended. And your nervous system hears it all. Even when you think you're ignoring the mess, your body is listening. Your space and your mind are in constant conversation. The more chaotic one becomes, the more the other follows. This isn't just metaphor, it's neuroscience. The visual cortex sends endless reminders of disorder to your brain, which interprets it as ongoing tasks, unresolved loops, unclosed files. The result is mental fatigue, irritability, distraction. Your focus bleeds into the background noise of your environment. A clean space, on the other hand, signals completion. It whispers, you are safe, you are capable, you are in control. That signal travels down your vagus nerve, calming your heartbeat, lowering stress hormones, sharpening clarity. You can breathe deeper, you think clearer. You move slower, but with more intent. Energy behaves the same way. Every object in your room carries vibrational memory, the imprint of attention or neglect. When you walk through a cluttered space, your energy field collides with dozens of stagnant frequencies, each tugging at your focus. When you clear them, you aren't just cleaning, you're releasing trapped energy. That's why decluttering can feel like emotional relief. You're literally making space for higher frequency to flow. Your home, your desk, your car. They are extensions of your consciousness. You can't meditate your way to peace if your surroundings scream chaos. The outer world trains the inner world. The inner world shapes the outer world. It's a cycle, and you can choose where to break it. Begin small. Start with one corner, one drawer, one desk. Don't aim for perfection, aim for clarity. As you move your hands, imagine you're rearranging your thoughts. Every item you put back in place is an act of self-respect. Every piece of trash you throw away is a belief you no longer need. Cleaning becomes ritual. Movement becomes meditation. You'll notice how, after even 10 minutes of order, your breathing slows. The silence feels thicker. That's coherence returning. your environment aligning with your frequency. From a spiritual scientific perspective, matter holds memory. Wood, fabric, metal. Everything you touch absorbs a trace of your state when you touched it. A space filled with objects that carry stress will echo that stress back at you. But when you handle things with calm, gratitude, and intention, you reprogram your environment to reflect your new vibration. You become the architect of both matter and energy. Minimalism isn't about living with less. It's about living with presence. Each object should serve a purpose, hold beauty, or carry resonance. Everything else is friction. The less resistance your surroundings create, the more effortlessly energy flows through your life. Psychologically, this is also why organized environments support emotional stability. When your external world is ordered, your prefrontal cortex, the brain's decision center, has fewer micro-decisions to make. It saves willpower for what truly matters. This is why a clean workspace feels like mental silence. It isn't superficial, it's neurological relief. Create rituals of maintenance. Begin your day by making your bed, not as a chore, but as declaration. The day begins in order. Before sleep, clear your surfaces. Put away objects, close laptops, fold what's open. You're signaling to your subconscious that the cycle of the day is complete. This small practice quiets anxiety before it begins. Some resist this because they think calm must come from within, not from something as ordinary as cleaning. But the truth is, calm flows through everything. You are not separate from your environment. The walls you live in breathe with you. The objects you use vibrate with you. Order them, and they will order you back. In Eastern traditions, this is called space clearing, removing stagnation to let chi, or life force, circulate freely. Modern science calls it environmental psychology. Different languages, same truth. Your surroundings influence your nervous system and your spiritual signal. Here's how to use it intentionally. Morning scan. Stand at your door and look at your room as if you were a guest. What feels heavy? What feels alive? Adjust accordingly. Midday reset. After focused work, take 5 minutes to put things back. Physical movement discharges built-up tension. Evening release. As the sun lowers, turn down your lights. Play soft frequency music. Tidy one area. Let your hands tell your body it's safe to rest. Soon, you'll begin to crave this order. Not from obsession, but because peace will become your natural baseline. You'll find yourself less reactive, more deliberate, more present. You won't need motivation to create anymore. Your environment itself will inspire motion. And when people enter your space, they'll feel it. The stillness, the calm, the subtle sense of safety. That's your field extending beyond your skin, your energy training the environment that once trained you. Remember, chaos outside eventually becomes chaos inside, but order outside becomes peace inside. You can't control every storm in life, but you can ensure the place you return to restores you, not drains you. So clean not to impress, not to control, but to align. To turn your environment into a silent ally of your calm. To let your space echo what your soul already knows. Peace is not hidden. It's organized. Every clean corner becomes a mirror of clarity. Every gentle movement becomes a prayer for order. And when your world begins to reflect your mind, you'll realize it was never just a tidy room. It was a frequency shift. Peace begins where your space stops shouting. Chapter 6. Silence. The language of power. When you're angry, silence feels impossible. Your heart races, your chest tightens, your body demands release. Words rise like fire, sharp, unfiltered, immediate. But those are not your words. They belong to the emotion, not to you. They come from heat, not truth. And once released, they cannot be recalled. The echo of anger lasts longer than the reason that caused it. That's why silence, in moments of fury, is not weakness. It's mastery. To remain quiet when every cell in your body wants to attack is to hold the sword without swinging it. It's restraint that radiates strength. The world confuses volume with power, but silence is the language of true authority. Noise reacts, stillness rules. Physiologically, when you're angry, your amygdala, the ancient alarm system of your brain, takes over. Adrenaline floods, cortisol spikes, your vision narrows, logic shuts down. You're not thinking, you're defending. That's why we say things we don't mean, send messages we regret, break trust we later wish we had protected. The storm inside hijacks clarity. Silence interrupts that storm. One slow breath, one quiet pause, and your brain begins to restore order. Emotion, by its nature, is energy in motion. Anger is simply energy vibrating too fast for your system to handle. When you stay silent, you don't suppress it. You slow it. You let the vibration settle until it becomes usable again. That's emotional transmutation, turning heat into light, impulse into insight. Spiritually, silence is not emptiness. It's the field where wisdom waits. When you stop reacting, you create a vacuum that higher intelligence rushes to fill. The universe cannot speak to a loud mind. But in silence, you hear everything. Your intuition, your truth, the subtle direction hidden beneath the chaos. To practice silence under pressure is to align with the rhythm of creation itself. The sun doesn't shout to rise. The tide doesn't argue to return. The universe moves with quiet inevitability, not noise. When you mirror that rhythm, you enter power without aggression. It takes discipline to hold your tongue when someone disrespects you. It takes maturity to walk away from battles that feed on your energy. But understand this: every time you engage in reactive conflict, you descend to the same frequency as the chaos you're fighting. You can't argue your way to peace. You can only rise your way into it. Silence is the elevator. People often misread your silence. They'll think you're weak, passive, cold. Let them. Your goal is not to be understood. It's to be unshaken. The lion doesn't explain its silence to the forest. It simply moves, and the ground adjusts. Try this practice. When provoked, say nothing for 1 full minute. Breathe through your nose. Feel the heat in your chest, but don't feed it. Watch the feeling like a flame in your palms. It flickers, then fades when denied fuel. After that minute, most of what you wanted to say will no longer need to be said. The truth that remains will be cleaner, lighter, more powerful. In that pause, your heart rate lowers, your prefrontal cortex reactivates, and clarity returns. Now you can speak not to hurt, not to defend, but to direct. That is the difference between noise and influence. Silence is also a boundary. When you refuse to argue, gossip, or react, you're saying, "My peace is not public property." You're choosing dignity over dominance. Every unnecessary word you withhold is energy preserved. Every argument you decline is focus reclaimed. There's a hidden wisdom here. Not all truths need to be spoken. Not all opinions need to be corrected. Not all offenses deserve your explanation. Sometimes silence delivers the message more clearly than words ever could. The absence of reaction teaches others how to approach your energy. From a cosmic viewpoint, silence is magnetic. It pulls attention, not because it demands it, but because it anchors it. When your field remains steady in noise, Others instinctively gravitate toward your calm. That's the essence of presence, the gravity of inner control. Anger seeks to expand outward, to infect the environment. Silence reverses that direction. It draws energy back inward, where it can be refined. This inward redirection is how you transform emotional chaos into creative power. Great art, deep wisdom, powerful leadership, they all rise from people who learned to alchemize emotion instead of broadcasting it. Remember this: the higher your frequency, the less noise you make. Not because you have less to say, but because your energy speaks louder than your words. People may not remember what you said in calm, but they will never forget how your calm made them feel. So the next time anger demands your voice, give it your breath instead. The next time pain begs for proof, give it your patience. The next time chaos invites your reaction, offer it silence. Because silence isn't the absence of response. It's the most deliberate response there is. Speak only when your words can add clarity, not clutter. And when silence says it better, let silence speak. That is leadership of self. That is spiritual control. That is the power that never needs to shout. True calm doesn't live in those who never feel rage. It lives in those who have learned to meet rage with stillness. And when you master that, you don't just stay calm. You become the calm others borrow strength from. Let the world rush, argue, and explode. You will not. You will breathe, observe, and hold. Because silence is not surrender, it's sovereignty. And sovereignty never loses its balance. Chapter 7. Right to release energy. Your mind was never built to hold everything you feel. Thoughts are electrical storms, beautiful, powerful, but dangerous when trapped inside. When you don't give them somewhere to go, they build pressure. They circle, collide, and intensify until they spill into your emotions, your tone, your sleep. Writing is how you let that storm rain itself out without burning your world down. When you write, you give your thoughts a form, and in doing so, you free yourself from them. The page becomes a mirror for what the mind tries to hide. Sometimes you won't know what's wrong until you see it staring back at you in ink. Writing slows, thinking down to the speed of awareness. It turns the intangible into something visible, something you can work with. Most people underestimate the power of the pen. They think journaling is self-help fluff, something gentle souls do for comfort. But this is not about comfort. It's about cleansing. Every unspoken worry is trapped energy, and writing is its release valve. It's not poetry, it's physics. Neuroscience confirms this. Expressive writing calms the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm center, and reactivates the prefrontal cortex, where reasoning lives. It literally shifts blood flow from reaction to reflection. That's why a few pages of writing can make your breathing slow and your body soften. You're not thinking your way to calm. You're processing it through motion, through the physical act of transferring energy from brain to hand. Spiritually, writing is modern alchemy. You transmute vibration into matter. You take chaos, nonlinear, shapeless, and shape it into order. Every sentence becomes a container for what once overwhelmed you. This is why ancient mystics wrote prayers. Philosophers kept journals. Poets recorded their pain. They weren't documenting life. They were digesting it. Don't worry about grammar, structure, or sense. The page doesn't grade you. It receives you. Let your writing be messy, incoherent, raw. Let the sentences contradict themselves. Let them wander. The goal isn't beauty, it's honesty. Every honest word lowers the static inside your mind. Every confession clears a frequency. When something keeps replaying in your head, write it down. When you wake at 3 a.m. with heavy thoughts, write them down. When anger simmers but has nowhere to go, write it down. It's not about solving the problem. It's about moving the energy. Once energy moves, clarity follows. There's an ancient reason this works. The body understands symbols more than words. When you write, you're signaling to your subconscious that the thought is now external, processed, safe to release. The mind stops looping because it knows the message has been delivered. That's closure without confrontation. If you want to go deeper, ritualize it. Keep one notebook not for productivity, but for purification. Write daily or whenever you feel dense. Start each entry with, "What's taking up space in me right now?" Then let it pour. Don't censor, don't fix, just empty. When you finish, read nothing. Close the book. That act of closing seals the energy. It's not for review, it's for release. Psychologically consistent journaling raises self-awareness. Patterns emerge, the same fears, same names, same situations. You begin to see yourself not as the storm, but as the observer of it. That distance is liberation. From it, choice is born. You can't choose what you don't see. Writing makes it visible. There's also a hidden energetic truth. When you write, you send vibration through paper, and paper is made of trees, living conduits of the Earth's frequency. The act grounds you. You transfer restless energy from body to matter, from chaos to calm. Nature absorbs what no longer serves you. If you ever feel resistance to writing, that's the exact moment you need it most. The mind resists what will free it. It says, "Later, I'll think about it." But thinking isn't healing, it's recycling. Writing interrupts that loop. Even a few minutes matter. 5 sentences can shift your entire day. Because calm doesn't come from control, it comes from release. And writing is the safest, cleanest, most direct release you'll ever have. There will be days when your entries feel repetitive. Good. That means you're draining the deeper layers. Every repetition pulls out another thread of the wound. One day you'll notice the page staying blank longer, and you'll realize you no longer need to empty as often. That's not neglect. That's integration. The energy that once screamed now hums quietly, in balance. Over time, your notebooks become sacred archives of growth. When you look back, you'll see old pain that once felt permanent and realize it ended. You survived. You transformed. That realization alone builds self-trust, the foundation of peace. You can burn what you write. You can keep it. You can tear it apart. What matters is the motion. Every word is a wire grounding the current. Every page is a bridge from emotion to expression, from tension to understanding. Remember this. Unspoken emotion is unpaid debt. You either write it out, talk it out, or act it out, and acting it out is the costliest. Choose the page. Let it carry what your tongue can't. When you're overwhelmed, don't try to think your way calm. Sit, write, empty, and watch how, slowly, the storm inside you begins to take shape, then soften, then disappear. Because peace isn't found, it's made. Word by word, line by line, release by release. Chapter 8. One frequency at a time. Your mind cannot hold peace and chaos at the same time. It will always tune itself to one dominant signal. The reason you feel overwhelmed is not because life is too heavy. It's because you're tuned to too many stations at once. Every unfinished task, every open tab, every half-thought pulls a thread of your energy until you're woven into a net of tension. Calm is not about doing less. It's about doing one thing with full presence. We glorify multitasking as efficiency, but neuroscience calls it what it is: cognitive switching. Every switch costs your brain energy. You lose focus, depth, and emotion each time you jump between tasks. You might get more things done, but each one carries less power. A scattered mind creates shallow results. A single-minded focus, though, channels energy like a laser. It cuts through resistance. When you focus on one thing completely, your body enters a state of harmony called flow. Your heart rate steadies, your breathing synchronizes, and your prefrontal cortex quiets. Time slows down. You stop thinking about doing and start being the doing. That's why after deep focus, you feel lighter, not tired. Energy spent coherently restores itself. Spiritually, this is alignment in motion. You're not fragmenting your vibration, you're consolidating it. Every task you do with full attention strengthens the frequency of calm. Distraction scatters energy. Concentration reclaims it. Each moment of presence is a declaration. This is where my power belongs. Imagine your attention as light. When diffused, it illuminates everything faintly. When focused, it can burn through steel. The same applies to your energy. If you want calm, gather it. Don't let your attention wander to 10 different futures or 5 different fears. Pull it home. Start small. When you drink water, just drink. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. No phone, no noise, no double screens. It will feel strange at first, even uncomfortable. That's not boredom. It's detox. You're reweaving your attention back into a single thread. The law of resonance states that every frequency attracts similar frequencies. The more time you spend in scattered energy, the more scattered situations you attract. Missed details, miscommunications, misplaced peace. The more you dwell in singular focus, the more life organizes itself around that rhythm. People who live calmly aren't lucky. They're consistent. They move one frequency at a time. Psychologically, singular focus restores a sense of control. Anxiety often comes from too many open loops. The brain loves closure. When you complete one task fully, dopamine releases and tells your body, safe, done, next. When you leave 10 tasks half-finished, the mind keeps spinning the wheel with no breaks. Here's a simple system for calm. List everything demanding your attention. Don't filter, just unload. Circle 1. The one thing that, if handled today, would make life lighter. Do that one thing, fully, without rushing to the next. Celebrate small completion. Let your body feel the satisfaction before moving on. This isn't about speed. It's about energy flow. When you complete one thing, you signal to the universe that your energy can be trusted. And the universe gives more to those who handle what they already have, with care. You'll notice something. Once you start focusing on one thing, your mind resists. It craves the adrenaline of fragmentation. It whispers, what about that other task? What if you forget? What if it's not enough? That's old programming. Your nervous system is addicted to urgency. Ignore it gently. Keep your breath slow, your pace deliberate. Peace isn't natural at first. It's trained. Over time, single tasking will rewire your internal frequency. You'll start feeling a subtle gravity, pulling you into depth rather than breadth. You'll crave silence more than stimulation. You'll prefer clarity over noise. This is your energy remembering its original rhythm. The spiritual dimension of this is profound. Every focused act becomes meditation. Folding clothes, washing dishes, answering emails, all can be sacred when done with full attention. Presence is prayer in motion. When your actions carry coherence, you become a living transmitter of calm. you'll realize that calm isn't found in retreating from life. It's found in mastering how you attend to it, one frequency at a time, one task at a time, one breath at a time. Here's a mantra for this chapter. My power is in my presence. My peace is my focus. Repeat it before you start your day, before meetings, before creative work. It recalibrates your mind to singular energy. Every time you pull your attention back from chaos, you reclaim a piece of your life force. Every time you finish what you start, you build inner trust. Every time you give something your full focus, you multiply its impact. The truth is simple. Scattered attention creates a scattered life. Focused energy creates a peaceful one. You don't need to do more. You need to do one thing well, then the next, then the next. You can't tune into peace if you keep switching stations. Choose one, and stay long enough to hear the music beneath the noise. Because the mind that learns to stay with one frequency becomes unshakable, no matter how many others are screaming for attention. Chapter 9. Energy of Safe Connections. You can meditate every morning, read every book, eat clean, and still lose your peace in 5 minutes, if you're surrounded by people who drain your energy. The calmest mind cannot survive in a field of constant static. You're not only affected by words or actions, you're influenced by vibration. Every person emits a frequency, and your nervous system feels it before your mind interprets it. You've felt it before. The subtle tightening in your chest when someone judgmental walks into the room. The heaviness in your stomach after spending time with a friend who always complains. The exhaustion that follows conversations where you can't be fully yourself. These aren't coincidences. They're energetic exchanges. And the most powerful choice you'll ever make for your peace is to curate who has access to your frequency. The truth is, not everyone deserves proximity to your energy. Some people are lessons, not lifetimes. They arrive to show you your boundaries, not to share your future. Yet so many of us confuse loyalty with self-betrayal. We stay in circles that shrink us because we fear being misunderstood or labeled cold. But protecting your peace is not cruelty, it's responsibility. From a scientific perspective, mirror neurons in your brain mimic the emotions of those around you. If someone is anxious, your body subtly mirrors that tension. If someone is calm, your system syncs with their rhythm. This is energetic contagion. It's why environments can either heal or harm you, and why you feel lighter around certain people without knowing why. Spiritually, relationships are frequency contracts. Every interaction is an exchange of vibration. You either rise together, or one drags the other down. Safe people are not just kind. They're energetically regulated. They bring coherence into your field instead of chaos. When you find such souls, your nervous system rests. You no longer perform. You exhale. A safe person doesn't always say the right thing, but their energy tells you, you're not being judged here. You feel seen, not scanned. You can be quiet without tension. You can share without fear. Safety is not about perfection, it's about presence. Unsafe energy, however, often hides beneath familiarity. It's the friend who jokes at your expense, the colleague who subtly competes, the relative who only calls when they need something. Their words might be polite, but your body knows. Your intuition knows. That tightness, that unease, that's feedback. Energy doesn't lie. You owe no one unlimited access. The idea that love must equal endurance is a myth. Real love respects frequency boundaries. Sometimes love is expressed by stepping back, not holding on. Distance can be the highest form of care, for yourself and for them. Because when you allow unhealthy dynamics to continue, you enable them to stay unconscious. Boundaries awaken both sides. Start noticing patterns. After spending time with someone, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I feel lighter or heavier? Do I feel seen or small? Do I feel grounded or tense? Your answers are the truth your logic tries to deny. If you consistently feel drained, it's not personal. It's energetic incompatibility. It's 2 frequencies that no longer resonate. Just as a musician must retune their instrument, you must retune your relationships as you evolve. It doesn't mean the other person is bad. It means you're vibrating at a new level, and not everyone can join you there. There's a spiritual principle here. Every soul you meet is a mirror showing you something about your own vibration. The ones who make you anxious teach you where you still give away power. The ones who calm you show you what alignment feels like. The ones who challenge you remind you where you still need healing. Honor them all, but choose wisely who stays close. Don't confuse constant communication with connection. Some people talk daily, yet never see you. Others speak rarely, but always understand you. Depth isn't measured by frequency of contact, but by frequency of energy. To build a peaceful life, become intentional about your energetic circle. Surround yourself with people who normalize calm, who speak with care, who celebrate your boundaries instead of testing them. Their energy will regulate yours. Their presence will sharpen your clarity. And in return, be that energy for them. Give what you want to receive. When you operate from safety, creativity flourishes. Your nervous system shifts from defense to expansion. Ideas flow. Laughter returns. Rest feels natural again. That's because your body finally believes it's not under threat. Peace becomes your default, not your reward. You'll notice that as you heal, some connections fade naturally. Don't chase them. You're not losing people. You're losing resonance. The frequency you once matched no longer fits. Let it go with gratitude. Their chapter in your vibration has served its purpose. The more you honor your energy, the more precise your life becomes. You stop entertaining chaos for nostalgia. You stop explaining peace to those committed to noise. You stop apologizing for wanting quiet love, clean energy, and real presence. That's not asking too much. It's asking for alignment. Here's the paradox. The moment you create boundaries, your relationships become deeper. Because what remains after the noise leaves is truth, and truth is magnetic. It attracts souls who are meant to walk with you, not drain you. Energetically safe people feel like sunlight through trees, warm, consistent, unforced. They make your breath slow down, not speed up. They remind you that love was never meant to feel like tension. If you find even one person like that, cherish them. If you haven't yet, become one. Be the calm presence that steadies the room. Speak less, listen more. Protect others' peace as fiercely as your own. In the cosmic sense, every bond is an energy exchange shaping your reality. Choose those whose presence expands your light, not dims it. You are not obligated to keep absorbing what hurts your evolution. Remember, peace is not isolation. It's intelligent selection. You are not meant to fight for space in someone's chaos. You are meant to bloom in someone's calm. And the moment you choose that, life rearranges itself to match your frequency. Because peace is not something others give you. It's something you protect through the courage to walk away. Chapter 10. Track your energy, not just your time. Most people measure life in hours and achievements, but the wise measure it in energy. You can have a perfectly planned day on paper and still feel empty inside, because productivity without awareness is motion without meaning. You cannot live balanced if you don't know where your energy truly goes. Every day, your body, mind, and spirit speak through sensation, tiredness, tension, inspiration, peace. These are not random moods. They're energetic data. Your system is always telling you what's aligned and what's draining, but you rarely pause long enough to listen. The habit of tracking how you feel is how you reconnect to that inner intelligence. Emotion is frequency. It is feedback from your energy field, signaling whether you're in harmony or friction. Ignoring emotions doesn't make you strong. It disconnects you from your compass. The moment you start tracking how you feel, patterns emerge. You begin to see how certain people, environments, and habits raise or lower your vibration. You stop guessing what's wrong because you can see it in the data of your own experience. From a scientific view, mood tracking strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the seat of conscious control. It rewires your brain to notice triggers before they escalate. Over time, you move from reaction to regulation. Instead of being swept by emotions, you start navigating them. The simple act of observation transforms chaos into clarity. Here's how to start. At the end of each day, ask yourself 3 questions. What moments gave me energy? What moments drained me? What did my body feel during both? Write your answers quickly, without overthinking. The goal isn't to judge, it's to witness. Because what you measure, you can master. When you see that you always feel anxious after certain habits, late scrolling, skipping sleep, tolerating negativity, you can change them consciously instead of blaming yourself for feeling off. Spiritually, this process is self-alignment in motion. The universe operates through rhythm. Inhale and exhale, night and day, tide and retreat. You too have cycles. By tracking your inner tides, you stop fighting your natural rhythm. You rest when your energy dips. You act when it peaks, and life begins to feel like flow rather than resistance. Balance is not a static state. It's dynamic awareness. You will never eliminate all stress or all sadness. The goal is not perfection, it's presence. To notice when your energy shifts, to tend to it gently before it breaks. When you do, burnout becomes rare, anxiety shortens its stay, and peace becomes something you return to easily, not something you have to chase. This awareness also transforms your relationships. You'll see who brings coherence to your energy and who scatters it. You'll stop mistaking emotional turbulence for passion. You'll choose calm over chaos, connection over attachment. You'll no longer need to analyze people endlessly. You'll simply feel the truth of them. Over time, your emotional tracking becomes your navigation system. You'll begin to predict energy drops before they happen, sense what your spirit needs before it asks. It's not control. It's communion with your own field. You'll live guided by internal signals rather than external demands. Try this. Every morning, before touching your phone, place a hand over your chest and ask, what energy am I waking with today? If it feels light, move forward with focus. If it feels heavy, slow down and care for it first. That 1 minute of checking in can redirect an entire day. You'll find that your definition of success changes. It's no longer about doing more. It's about maintaining inner coherence while doing what matters. A calm nervous system becomes your greatest wealth. You'll trade urgency for alignment, exhaustion for clarity, noise for flow. Energy awareness is spiritual maturity. It's knowing that you are not your thoughts. You are the field they pass through. You are not your emotions. You are the consciousness that observes them. And once you start tracking that field, you become the architect of your own frequency. Keep a simple record, a word, a color, a number from 1 to 10. Whatever helps you visualize your energy pattern. Over weeks, you'll see the truth unfold. Peace is a product of consistency, not circumstance. The same patterns that raise your energy, sleep, presence, gratitude, aligned company, will keep doing so. The same things that drain it, overthinking, tension, chaos, will keep doing so until you stop allowing them. Awareness leads to choice. Choice leads to mastery. Mastery leads to calm. Remember, the goal is not to live without emotion. It's to live in relationship with it. The universe itself pulses with waves. Energy expands and contracts. You're meant to do the same. The moment you start tracking your energy instead of your schedule, life becomes more than a checklist. It becomes a vibration you can consciously shape. And that's when balance stops being something you chase and becomes something you are. Ron Roy, Tu Gio Min Se Viet Lai, Chapter 11, Tu Jiao, Jodai, 898, Theo Jung Format, Phong Ka Shva Kao Trutsban Yeu Kao, Giu 70% Noi Dung Gots, Phong Ka Shva Triet Likua Ken Audiobook Gots. Morong 30% Bang Goch Nhin Koa Hok, Nang Luong Vatam Lin, Viet Man, Suk Tik, Gyong, Speech to the Soul, Giu Dong Che Mach Lak, Kong Nangat No, Kong Chen Subheadings, Ket Thuts Bang Chu Stop. Chapter 11. The Physics of Inner Peace. You can't fight chaos by force. You dissolve it through structure. Just like in physics, every system that survives long enough finds its own equilibrium. Inside you, peace isn't an emotion. It's the outcome of alignment, of energy, thought, and rhythm, vibrating on the same frequency. When your inner field becomes coherent, you stop leaking power. Life doesn't feel lighter because problems vanish. It feels lighter because resistance drops. Everything around you is vibration. Every thought you think, every breath you take, every heartbeat is a frequency measured not in sound, but in resonance. When you rush, react, or live scattered, your internal vibration becomes noisy. The signal of your consciousness gets lost under interference. You begin to interpret confusion as fate, when it's just physics. A calm mind is a low-entropy field, ordered, steady, efficient. The more chaos you remove from your inner world, the less power you waste stabilizing it. Think of peace as the still center of a spinning gyroscope. The outer edges move fast, but the axis stays quiet. You can live in a storm and still not be shaken if your axis holds. That axis is built through repetition. The small habits that add structure to energy. Cleaning your space, keeping your sleep consistent, pausing before you speak, finishing what you start. These aren't moral tasks. They're energetic ones. They reduce mental entropy. They convert emotional turbulence into potential energy. Calm, waiting to be used. In physics, every object resists sudden change. It's called inertia. Your mind has inertia too. It keeps spinning toward worry, stress, or reactivity, because that's the direction it's been conditioned to move. To change direction, you don't yell at the wheel. You apply a new constant force, awareness. Each conscious breath is a microforce that slows the spin of panic. Each deliberate pause becomes a vector, turning you back toward clarity. It's not magic. It's momentum management. Entropy, the natural drift toward disorder, is the silent enemy of your peace. Left alone, any system will decay. Your desk gets messy, your thoughts get noisy, your energy scatters. That's not failure. That's the law of the universe. The way out is not punishment, but maintenance. When you tidy your room, meditate, breathe, or finish something you avoided, You're performing an act of negative entropy, pulling life back toward order. You're not chasing motivation. You're lowering internal resistance so that energy can flow freely again. Science calls it coherence. Spirit calls it harmony. Both describe the same thing, all parts vibrating together instead of against each other. When your thoughts contradict your actions, you generate friction. When your schedule opposes your body's rhythm, you burn energy twice. But when everything aligns, when your mind agrees with your actions with your values with your purpose, peace emerges automatically. You don't create it. You uncover it, like silence that was buried under noise. There's another law at play: resonance. Energy amplifies when it meets its match. That's why being around calm people steadies you. Your nervous system entrains to their lower frequency. You can use this deliberately. Start your morning in silence, or with music that carries stillness. It will set your base frequency before the world projects its static on you. Protect it, like sacred bandwidth. Every chaotic input you allow, doom scrolling, drama, clutter, caffeine at midnight, is an energetic parasite raising your internal noise floor. The practice of peace is not retreat, it's architecture. You build boundaries like a physicist builds containment fields, not to isolate the energy, but to direct it. When you stop reacting to every disturbance, you create a sealed chamber for focus. That's where transformation happens. High energy in a contained space becomes power. Uncontained, it just burns. Think of your emotional system as a circuit. Every unfinished task, unresolved argument, or suppressed feeling is a wire left open, leaking voltage. You don't need to repair the world. Just close the circuits. Finish what you start. Forgive what you're tired of carrying. Express what's stuck. Each closure restores voltage to your core. Soon your energy stops dripping into the noise and begins circulating with clean precision. That's when peace starts to feel electric. Quiet on the outside, charged within. Spiritually, peace is not absence. It's pressure balanced. The universe expands outward while gravity pulls inward, and existence persists between those forces. You are the same. When your drive expands too far without inner grounding, you collapse. When you retreat inward without movement, you stagnate. The art is to let action and stillness hold each other. Too much fire burns. Too much stillness freezes. Balance is the temperature of life. At the highest level, calm is cosmic alignment, your personal field synchronizing with the larger field of existence. When you breathe in rhythm with the universe, inhale with growth, exhale with release, you realize peace isn't personal anymore. It's the natural hum of life when you stop interrupting it. This is the physics of inner peace. Energy conserved, noise reduced, rhythm stabilized. You don't need to become slower. You need to become smoother. You don't need to change your world. You need to tune it. And when your frequency finally matches the quiet order behind all things, the universe responds in kind. Steady, measured, precise. Because peace isn't a miracle. It's a formula. Energy follows order. Order follows awareness. Awareness begins with you. Chapter 12. Detachment, the highest form of control. Detachment has been misunderstood. People hear the word and think it means coldness, distance, or giving up. But true detachment isn't about caring less. It's about caring cleanly. It's the ability to give your full effort without surrendering your inner balance to outcomes you cannot command. Detachment is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of attachment. It's freedom inside engagement. When you're attached to results, you hand your peace to something unstable. Other people's reactions, external timing, unpredictable rewards. You begin to live like a pendulum, swinging between anxiety and euphoria, depending on what happens next. But when you detach, you become the axis, not the swing. You still move, but you don't lose your center. This isn't passivity. Detachment is an active discipline. It means doing what must be done. Sending the message, building the project, loving deeply, but releasing the demand that it must unfold on your timeline, in your shape, or with your recognition. You still plant seeds, but you stop trying to pull them upward before they're ready. Psychologically, attachment activates the amygdala, the brain's threat center. The mind translates uncertainty as danger, flooding your system with cortisol. That's why obsession feels so heavy. You're living in permanent fight mode with reality. Detachment shifts you back into the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that can plan, perceive, and adapt. It's not numbness, it's neurological efficiency. You stop wasting energy fighting the flow and start directing it within it. Spiritually, detachment is the art of alignment without control. The universe operates through intelligent timing. You don't have to micromanage it. You only need to remain receptive. The moment you cling, you collapse possibility into expectation. When you detach, you open the field again. Infinite outcomes become available because you've stopped strangling one version of success. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. You still desire, still dream, still act. But you no longer make your happiness conditional. You no longer say, "I'll be at peace when." You decide, "I'll be at peace now," as I move toward it. That's emotional sovereignty, the ability to act without internal chaos. Think of it like sailing. You control the sail, not the wind. You set direction, not the storm. Attachment argues with the weather. Detachment adjusts it. Every time you cling, you're gripping a rope that burns your own hand. Every time you let go, you find you can steer again. To practice detachment, start with awareness. Notice what outcome you secretly demand from your actions. Approval, closure, certainty, validation. Write it down. Then ask yourself, if I didn't get this, would my value change? The answer will always be no. You'll see how your attachments are built on illusions of lack. Detachment restores abundance because it reminds you that peace is an inside resource, not a trophy from the world. Emotionally, detachment shifts you from reaction to observation. You stop being the actor drowning in the scene and become the director behind the lens. The story still moves, but you choose the frame. You can feel sadness without being consumed, witness anger without becoming violent, experience desire without turning desperate. You hold emotion as data, not destiny. From an energetic lens, attachment is dense frequency. It contracts. Detachment is expansion. It allows movement. Imagine holding water in a clenched fist. It slips away. Open your hand, and it stays. That's how energy works. The more tightly you grip, the more life leaks through your fingers. Letting go is not losing. It's allowing the natural flow to return. Practicing detachment in daily life looks subtle. It's taking a deep breath before checking your phone for that message. It's doing the work because it's meaningful, not because it guarantees reward. It's walking away from arguments you can't win because silence is cheaper than chaos. It's sleeping peacefully, knowing you've done your part and the rest belongs to timing. Detachment is also the cure for perfectionism. You stop trying to prove worth through flawless control. You start trusting rhythm, that things unfold exactly when your energy is ready to hold them. You stop forcing, and in that relaxation, power returns. Science calls this homeostasis, a system's ability to self-balance. When your emotions stop oscillating between craving and fear, your nervous system recalibrates. You think clearer. You make better decisions. You stop oscillating between extremes. That's not apathy. That's optimization. The deepest layer of detachment is spiritual humility. The understanding that you are not the architect of outcomes, only the sculptor of effort. Life unfolds through you, not against you. You are the current, not the command. Detachment means trusting that unseen forces are arranging things in ways your limited vision cannot yet grasp. In truth, detachment is the purest form of control, because it's control of the only thing that was ever yours, your inner state. When you master your response, the universe stops feeling hostile. You start noticing that timing favors the calm, that clarity attracts solutions, and that the less you chase, the faster things align. So work with devotion, but hold outcomes lightly. Love deeply, but without fear of loss. Give completely, but stay rooted in yourself. Detachment doesn't shrink your humanity. It refines it. It turns desperation into direction, confusion into clarity, chaos into flow. Because peace doesn't come from owning everything. It comes from needing nothing to feel complete. Chapter 13. Alignment over motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It flares like lightning, brilliant, thrilling, and gone in seconds. Alignment, on the other hand, is current. It hums beneath everything you do. It doesn't ask if you feel like showing up. It simply keeps you moving because movement itself feels natural. Most people chase motivation and wonder why they keep stopping. But motivation was never meant to carry you far. It's a spark, not a system. The ones who keep going aren't more inspired. They're more aligned. Alignment happens when your thoughts, habits, environment, and purpose vibrate on the same frequency. It's when your behavior supports your values instead of fighting them. It's the reason why some days feel effortless, while others feel like dragging your body through mud. You aren't lazy, you're misaligned. The river doesn't struggle to flow. It just follows the channel that fits its shape. Think about how many times you've forced yourself forward through sheer adrenaline. New goals, new planners, new promises. That energy always burns out because it's built on friction. You're using willpower to fight resistance instead of removing the cause of resistance. Alignment is subtraction, not addition. It's clearing what doesn't match your rhythm, so your natural drive can move freely again. Start by asking a simple question. What am I moving toward that no longer fits who I'm becoming? You'll feel it in your body when the answer comes. Tightness, fatigue, dread. Those are signals of misalignment. Excitement, calm, focus. Signals of truth. Your nervous system knows before your logic catches up. Motivation demands pressure. Alignment creates momentum. In motivation, you push. In alignment, you are pulled. It feels lighter because the current of life moves with you. Every habit that matches your authentic rhythm multiplies energy. Every habit that contradicts it leaks energy. That's why self-awareness is a form of power management. From a neuroscience lens, alignment strengthens dopaminergic flow. Your brain's reward system becomes predictable. When your daily habits consistently connect to deeper meaning, dopamine stops spiking chaotically and starts sustaining evenly. You're no longer addicted to novelty. You're anchored in purpose. That's why aligned people appear calm but unstoppable. They've traded excitement for coherence. Spiritually, alignment means you've stopped negotiating with your soul. You no longer need to convince yourself to act, because your actions already express who you are. That's what truth feels like. Effort dissolving into flow. The universe supports aligned motion, Because it's frictionless. It requires less energy to maintain. Every species in nature evolves by finding the path of least resistance. Alignment is the human version of that intelligence. Here's how to build it deliberately. Begin with your environment. Your surroundings are either a friction field or a focus amplifier. Clean surfaces, organized tools, natural light. These are not aesthetic luxuries. They are neurological cues for order. Then build rituals, not schedules. Rituals turn repetition into reverence. The same actions, waking, stretching, journaling, working, become sacred when done with presence. Next, design feedback loops. Once a week, ask yourself, what drained me? What sustained me? What's one small correction I can make? Alignment grows from micro-adjustments, not dramatic overhauls. You refine your system the way an engineer fine-tunes a circuit, precision over panic. Emotionally, alignment feels like a quiet confidence. No high, no crash, just consistent signal. When you're aligned, you stop comparing because your direction is internal. You no longer chase motivation from outside sources, quotes, applause, validation. The fuel comes from resonance. You act because action itself feels right. But let's be clear. Alignment isn't comfort. It demands discipline. It asks you to choose truth over ego, rhythm over rush, integrity over impulse. You might outgrow people, jobs, or habits that once matched you. That's not failure. That's evolution. Every version of you emits a new frequency, and what's not aligned will naturally fall away. Don't chase what collapses. Bless it for bringing you here, and keep walking. On a deeper energetic level, alignment creates coherence between your electromagnetic field and your intentions. The heart emits a measurable frequency. When it synchronizes with your brain waves through calm focus, your entire system becomes magnetically organized. You stop broadcasting static and start transmitting clarity. That's why aligned action manifests faster. It's not magic, it's resonance. Motivation says, force the door open. Alignment says, knock once, and if it doesn't open, that's not your door. Motivation fades the moment emotion dips. Alignment endures even in silence. It's what keeps you writing on days of doubt, training when no one watches, showing kindness when no one applauds. It's not a rush, it's rhythm. So stop chasing the surge. Build the system. Wake and sleep at steady hours. Guard your focus like sacred ground. Create physical order to stabilize mental order. Speak with precision. Move with intent. Honor the small consistencies. They are the architecture of peace. The ultimate goal is not to live every day on fire. It's to live every day in frequency. To wake already aligned with what matters, so that even when life changes tempo, your energy doesn't shatter. It adjusts, it flows, it continues. Because motivation can start a chapter, but alignment writes the entire book. Chapter 14. Energy protection in a noisy world. The modern world is engineered for distraction. Every vibration, every notification, every glowing pixel is a small hook tugging at your nervous system. You live in a storm of microstimuli designed to hijack your attention and drain your focus. The result isn't just mental fatigue, it's energetic erosion. You lose fragments of yourself in invisible exchanges until you wake up tired without knowing why. Protecting your energy isn't luxury anymore. It's survival. You can't silence the world, but you can build internal noise cancellation. Think of your energy like a signal, clean at its source, distorted as it passes through interference. Every unfiltered input becomes static: gossip, scrolling, overexposure, emotional clutter. Energy protection is about strengthening your signal-to-noise ratio. You can't avoid all frequencies, but you can tune your receiver. Start with the body, because that's where energy enters first. Your physical state is your first firewall. Sleep, hydration, and steady movement stabilize the electrical field of your nervous system. A fatigued body is an open gate. It absorbs everything. A rested body filters naturally. Before you fix your mindset, fix your biology. It's the hardware that carries your frequency. Next, create digital containment. Every time you pick up your phone without purpose, you pierce your attention field. Information pours in faster than you can process it, flooding your dopamine system. This constant input keeps your brain in mild stress, which your body reads as danger. To protect yourself, schedule white zones, hours without screens, notifications, or background noise. Let silence recalibrate your baseline. You'll find that your clarity returns, not because you gained something new, but because you finally stopped absorbing. Then, there's emotional hygiene. Energy exchange doesn't happen only through conversation. It happens through presence. When someone vents anger or despair without awareness, they discharge static into your field. If you're empathic, you'll absorb it instantly. This is not weakness. It's sensitivity. Learn to seal your energy after interactions. A simple breath ritual works. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Imagine exhaling all frequencies that aren't yours. This shortens the half-life of emotional residue. Your environment also speaks. Clutter traps stagnant energy. Noise fragments your concentration. The spaces you inhabit are mirrors of your field. Keep one area sacred: your desk, your bed, your altar, whatever feels like center. Enter it only with intention. Over time, that space becomes a charging dock for your mind. When you sit there, your system remembers, here, I rest. Energetic protection also means choosing company with precision. The human brain contains mirror neurons that copy the emotional state of others. Spend hours with anxious people, and your nervous system begins to mimic their rhythm. It's physics, not judgment. Boundaries are not rejection, they're calibration. You have a right to curate the frequencies you allow close. Seek those who regulate rather than agitate, who leave you clearer, not heavier. On the spiritual level, your field expands and contracts based on coherence. When you practice grounding through breath, gratitude, or presence, your electromagnetic field strengthens. This isn't metaphor. The heart emits measurable waves. Calm hearts synchronize others around them. Every act of self-centering is therefore communal service. You reduce collective static by maintaining your own clarity. Here are simple rituals of protection. Morning shielding. Before engaging with the world, visualize a sphere of light around you, thin enough to let love in, thick enough to deflect chaos. Energetic shower. At day's end, as water runs over you, imagine it rinsing away everything that's not yours. Name what you release: stress, judgment, exhaustion, and watch it vanish down the drain. Sensory fasting. Once a week, spend an hour without words, screens, or music. Let silence reset your frequency bandwidth. Reconnection with nature. Stand barefoot on ground, or touch a tree for a full minute. The earth discharges excess static better than any technique. Energy protection doesn't mean isolation. You don't need walls. You need membranes. Porous enough for empathy, firm enough for peace. Life will still touch you, but it won't invade you. That's the difference between being open and being unguarded. Psychologically, these rituals train your parasympathetic system, the body's rest and digest mode. You become less reactive, more observant. The noise still exists, but it no longer enters your bloodstream. People will notice it before you do. You'll walk into rooms and change the temperature without saying a word. That's what happens when your energy stops leaking. You become the calm center others orbit. Protecting energy is not selfish. It's sacred maintenance. You cannot heal the world while running on fumes. Peace isn't produced, it's preserved. Every time you decline unnecessary noise, you reclaim bandwidth for creation, compassion, and clarity. So unplug, exhale. Clean your field as often as you clean your face. Guard your attention like oxygen. It's what keeps your flame alive. The world will always be loud. Your job is to stay tuned. Because in a world built to scatter you, stillness is rebellion. Chapter 15. The Cosmic Perspective. There's a reason the universe feels calm when you look up at the night sky. Those endless points of light don't rush, compare, or justify. They simply exist in rhythm. Every star expands, burns, and collapses in perfect timing. Nothing hurries, yet everything moves. That's the same law that governs you. The micro and the cosmic follow the same geometry. You are not separate from the pattern. You are the pattern, scaled down into human form. When you begin to see life through that lens, peace stops being personal. It becomes structural. You realize your thoughts are smaller echoes of galactic motion. Every cycle of breath mirrors expansion and contraction. The inhale, the exhale, just like birth and death, just like galaxies forming and dissolving. The same intelligence that holds stars in orbit holds your heartbeat steady. You're not adrift in chaos. You're embedded in order far larger than your fears can measure. Science calls it symmetry. Spirit calls it harmony. Both describe the same truth. Everything seeks balance. From atoms to ecosystems to emotions, equilibrium is the universe's default state. When you lose balance, it's not punishment, it's feedback, a gentle pull back toward the center. Anxiety, exhaustion, restlessness, these aren't random defects. They're cosmic alerts saying, you've drifted too far from your orbit. Return. The illusion of separation is the root of suffering. You think you're a single self fighting random forces, but the moment you quiet the mind, you feel it, the pulse that belongs to everything. That's why deep calm feels sacred. It reconnects you to the universal current. You stop vibrating as I and start vibrating as we. From an energetic view, everything you emit ripples outward through the field. Each emotion you sustain adds or subtracts order from the whole. Fear accelerates entropy. Calm restores coherence. That's why individual peace matters. One regulated nervous system radiates stability into countless others. The math of compassion is exponential. Your quiet steadiness is physics, not poetry. Every day, you transmit. Every word, gesture, and thought is a frequency entering the collective equation. When you act from panic, you amplify noise. When you act from clarity, you reduce it. This is cosmic responsibility, to manage your small orbit well so that the greater system runs smoother. You can't fix humanity, but you can hold a frequency that reminds humanity of its rhythm. Look closer and you'll see how fractals repeat. The order of your desk mirrors the order of your thoughts. The tone of your home mirrors the tone of your mind. The way you breathe mirrors the way galaxies expand and contract. Small order creates large order. Peace doesn't cascade from the top down. It radiates from the inside out. The most peaceful souls live with cosmic humility. They understand that the laws holding planets also hold emotions. Every force meets resistance. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. So they transform it. Anger into boundary, fear into attention, chaos into art. They don't suppress energy, they redirect it. That's evolution, not mystical, just mechanical. The refinement of raw vibration into usable light. The cosmos also teaches patience. Stars are born over billions of years. Oceans carve cliffs molecule by molecule. The universe does not rush, yet nothing is left unfinished. Your timeline is microscopic in comparison, and yet you panic when something takes a few months. Remember, anything meant to last moves slow. Growth measured in peace, not speed, aligns with cosmic rhythm. There's also humility in scale. When you zoom out far enough, every worry dissolves into proportion. The deadline, the argument, the self-doubt, they shrink next to the span of galaxies. That perspective isn't apathy, it's liberation. You see how brief every chaos really is. You realize you are both insignificant and essential, tiny in form, infinite in essence. From this height, spirituality and science merge. Meditation is physics. Gratitude is electromagnetism. Focus is gravity. Everything that steadies you also steadies the field. The calmer you are, the more reality bends toward order. The truth isn't that you control the universe, but that you participate in its design every time you align with its principles. If you want to feel cosmic peace, practice scale shifting. When you're trapped in small worries, imagine looking down from a higher orbit. Watch your day as if you were observing a planet. Clouds moving, people rushing, energy trading places. None of it is wrong. It's weather. You stop identifying with the storm and start understanding the climate. That's cosmic awareness. Participation without entanglement. You are not here to dominate nature. You are here to join its conversation, to listen to the pattern and contribute your frequency. Your purpose isn't a job, it's a resonance. When you vibrate in truth, you become a node in the universe's harmony. Peace then ceases to be something you protect. It becomes something you project. And here's the paradox. When you finally understand how vast it all is, you stop fearing mistakes. You stop chasing perfection. You realize that every misstep, every pause, every burst of laughter is already written into the formula. The universe doesn't demand flawlessness. It only asks you to keep oscillating, to keep returning to balance. So look up. The same intelligence that spins galaxies spins within you. The same stillness that fills space lives behind your ribs. You are not a visitor in the cosmos. You are one of its instruments. The quieter you become, the clearer you can hear the music. Peace isn't personal. It's cosmic physics in motion. And the moment you align with that, you stop trying to hold the universe together. Because you finally understand, it already is. Conclusion. The return to inner gravity. Peace was never missing. It was only buried under noise, deadlines, and the endless ache to prove that you're enough. What you've been chasing through ambition, validation, and motion wasn't power or even success. It was stillness. The quiet gravity that holds everything in place. The deeper you go into yourself, the more you realize nothing outside ever truly belonged to you. What lasts is the quality of your energy, the steadiness of your field when life begins to shake. The truth is simple, almost too simple to believe. Peace is not found at the top of the mountain. It's created in every small moment you refuse to abandon your center. Every chapter of this journey has pointed to the same law, the physics of alignment. Whether it was pausing before reaction, sleeping with intention, detaching from outcomes, or protecting your energy, the pattern remains constant. order lowers resistance. The more ordered your thoughts, your habits, your boundaries, your breath, the less friction life has to push through. Energy flows where resistance falls. This is what the wise understand. Peace isn't passive. It's built. It's maintained. It's engineered like architecture, beam by beam, choice by choice. The ones who radiate calm are not luckier. They are disciplined. They show up for the small, invisible rituals that create invisible strength. They tidy their space, not for vanity, but for frequency. They keep promises to themselves because self-trust is the foundation of internal order. They face the uncomfortable early, so it doesn't grow teeth. They treat silence like fuel, not emptiness. To live with inner gravity means you stop orbiting around every external event. You become the axis again, the still center inside the spin. The storm still comes, but you rotate calmly inside it. The approval you used to crave becomes unnecessary. The future you used to fear becomes manageable. You realize life's chaos isn't personal. It's just weather. And you are the climate. Biologically, this is nervous system mastery. Spiritually, it's surrender. You no longer live at the mercy of cortisol and adrenaline. You've learned to stretch time by breathing, to shift energy by awareness, to move from reaction to rhythm. That's sovereignty, not domination, but self-regulation. Every calm breath is a declaration. I am not running from life anymore. I'm conducting it. Look at the arc you've traveled. You started with control and ended with coherence. You began wanting power and discovered peace. You've seen that motivation fades, but alignment endures. That silence speaks louder than argument. That focus restores what chaos breaks. You've watched the same principles repeat across scales, cells, systems, relationships, galaxies. The pattern is eternal. Harmony sustains, dissonance decays. Peace is therefore not the reward for finishing the work. Peace is the work, the daily act of returning to center. Every time you pause before reacting, you alter probability. Every time you rest with purpose, you bend the trajectory of fatigue. Every time you choose to release what's heavy, you shift your frequency closer to source. Slowly, your life stops being a sequence of problems to solve and becomes a field to maintain. You're no longer surviving change, you're conducting it. From this height, success itself changes meaning. It's no longer about how much you achieve, but how consistently you stay aligned while achieving. Productivity becomes precision. Busyness becomes rhythm. Stillness becomes strategy. You stop trying to be impressive and start becoming inevitable, because the world always bends toward those who are unshaken. There's a line in physics. Systems seek their lowest energy state. Spiritually, that's peace. It's not laziness. It's efficiency. It's reality's default rhythm when interference ends. That's why the calm ones often seem magnetic. Their field has no leaks. They waste no energy on proving, defending, or chasing. Their quiet pulls everything restless toward equilibrium. That's the destiny of this practice, to become that quiet gravity. To be the one in the room whose presence steadies others. To be so internally coherent that chaos cannot find an entrance. You stop preaching calm, you embody it, and the world notices, not because you tell it to, but because resonance cannot hide. So as you close this book, don't rush to apply everything at once. Systems are built through sequence, not pressure. Pick one principle, a pause before reaction, a cleaner space, a quieter start to the day, and repeat it until it rewires your frequency. Peace compounds like interest. It grows silently, invisibly, until one morning you wake up and realize nothing external has changed, but you have. The noise is still there, but you are no longer tuned to it. That's what it means to have inner gravity. You don't escape life. You anchor it. You become the calm that others borrow strength from. You become the order that life expands around. And when you finally sit in that stillness, not as escape, but as identity, you'll understand. Peace was never a destination. It was the original state, waiting for your return. Welcome home. If something you heard today shifted your perspective, help it reach one more person who's ready for change. And if you want to keep growing with us, subscribe. This space will be here when you need it.